Honorable Dr. Boolell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I intend to be brief because most of the points have been canvassed forcefully by the Leader of the Opposition and the Leader of the Amendment. We on this side of the House, members of the Labour Party, act in unison with our friends on the opposition bench to state outright, and rightly so, that the bill has to be referred to a select committee of experts. The matter is too serious to be treated trivially or to reduce this bill to political party level. There should be no there should be, in fact, cross-party agreement over this issue, and there should be no politic partisan. Let me remind all our friends that when it comes to funding of political parties, I don't know of anyone who is dead against. But the problem with this government is that it does not command respect, and unfortunately, whatever it does, even if there is an intention of goodwill, unfortunately, there is no honesty of purpose. And I'm speaking from past practices. Had the government been serious in respect of this important issue, there should have been cross-party dialogue. And nothing stopped the Leader of the House, the Prime Minister, to invite members of the opposition to have serious discussion over an issue which is at the very crux of our democracy. And it cannot be treated lightly. It is true that the proposals in respect of funding of political parties were, or probably still are, on the website of the Prime Minister's office. But I would have expected wide discussion at the bar of public opinion. There's one thing of posting proposals on a website, but it is a different ballgame entirely together when the matter is discussed forcefully in every nook and corner of this country, because it concerns every citizen. The rights and obligation of citizens and of the state. The right to vote is fundamental, enshrined in our Constitution. And instead of inviting debate, of inviting a wide discussion, it has been, these proposals have remained on the website. Why is it fundamental to have wide discussion of an issue which is at the very heart of our democracy? First, there is a call for parity of esteem. There is a call to bring all political parties at a level playing field. There is no such thing as a small political party or a mainstream political party. And I totally agree that there is reason for public funding of political parties. And I would recall what a seasoned politician said in a book which he wrote, titled The Love of My Country. The total, and I quote, the book was written, of course, by Sir Arvin Boolell. The total prohibition of private funding will at least help to remove the influence of sponsors, bankroll electoral expenses of political parties. The largest contribution to political parties date back to 1963. Before that date, as far as I remember, each candidate had to bear all the expenses alone. A few friends would put a few cars at the disposal of candidates to ferry electors to the voting centers. Agents were all volunteers. They derived satisfaction from the victory of candidate. Those were the days of ideological warfare, of freedom fighting. And I grant you that the political landscape has changed, and the organization of the turbocharged campaign is the product of money politics. Why is there an inherent fear? The reason is simple, because parties in government, they have a comparative advantage. They have a war chest which has been swelled to a level beyond the wildest dream. Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Deputy Speaker, what I'm saying is the naked truth. And I'm making a plea for parity of esteem, to bring all political parties at a level playing field. This is why I say there's ground for funding for funding of political parties from the state. And the reason is simple. Some may argue, what are the benchmarks? What are the thresholds? And I see no reason why money cannot be disbursed to support what I call emerging political parties, well before the election, to enable them to meet the administrative costs. And it can be done. And it can be done. So instead, what are we going to say? Well, the benchmark have been established, certain thresholds have to be reached, and in so doing, you're consolidating the whole of certain political parties. And worse, those political parties now want to have a mainmise, a stronghold, upon other political parties, for the reasons that they have a huge war chest. And what is true, and what is true for the Labour Party, should be equally true for any other political party. For any political. I don't want to condescend to the level of some of our friends. The debate was sober until the friend who speaks before me, okay, Honorable Rupan, unfortunately tried to make this issue a political partisan.
But keep the debate sober.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I will do. In fact, I have a mouthful of arguments over, politic partisan, but I will have a culture of restraint and exercise this restraint. Now, what are the concerns expressed? One, that the Electoral Service Commission, which is the backbone of the Office of the Electoral Commissioner, the backbone of monitoring the process of ensuring proper supervision. What are we saying? And it has been canvassed loud and very forcefully that it has to be fiercely independent. Hence the reason as to why the Electoral Commissioner has been stated by Honorable Paul Béranger. He is appointed by the Judicial Legal Service Commission, and he has explained very clearly what are the powers conferred upon the President in respect of appointment of members also of the Commission. But in Mauritius, it is true that we live in a small country, but perception and reality, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, cannot be the mirror image of each other. And I recall when Mr. Joel Biari was chosen to be chairperson of the IBA. Mr. Joel Biari was close to the Labour Party. Labour Party in government decided to put his name forward to be appointed as chairman of the IBA. And following a meeting which Prime Minister had with the then president, what was decided? That Mr. Joy Bihari, because of his closeness to the Labour Party, should not be appointed chairman of the IB. And the then Prime Minister complied. The then Prime Minister complied. So, what are we saying? The leader of the opposition solicited an appointment with the acting president to discuss a matter which is highly relevant, to make sure that perception and reality is not the mirror image of each other. Basically, to put relevant question with respect to a member who was appointed, with respect to a person who was appointed to be a member of the Electoral Supervisory Commission. Since 2015, this government has embarked upon political vendetta. There has been political misdemeanors. And as I've said, there's now a climate of uncertainty and fear. And government is trying to obtain some political mileage. And is introducing this bill almost on the 11th hour, before Parliament is dissolved. And when you look at the bill, we don't know even what is the definition of a state-owned enterprise. It's yet to be clearly defined. And you and I, Mr. Deputy Speaker, know very well the role played by state bodies or bodies where government is the major shareholders, the role played by Mauritius Telecom to wage an intensive campaign in favor of this government. So, where is the honesty of purpose? That's why we on this side of the House, we say that this bill should be referred to a select committee of experts for issues that have been raised and have been canvassed forcefully. Mr. Deputy Speaker, let me make it quite clear that the agenda of this government is a hidden agenda. It's a hidden agenda. You know, I've been in politics since many years, and I know what is occult and what is crystal clear. And when you gaze in the crystal ball, our friends sitting on the government bench, it stands to reason that they want to obtain political mileage. And what are they going to say outside? What are they going to say outside? That we've tried to usher in legislation on funding of political parties, but undermined by members of the opposition. But out there, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the people know that they are making a mockery of parliamentary democracy. And this is what they are doing, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And if you are, now you want to talk of funding of political parties, I don't intend to wear my boogies, because I don't intend to hit anybody's on the shin. But if you want to go talk of funding of political parties, I invite all political parties to disclose all the funds that they have. All the funds that they have. I invite all of them. The MMM has no fear to do it. PMSD has no fear to do it. Labour Party has been stripped naked. I invite people on the other side, members of the Alliance Party, to disclose their banks, their accounts. I'm not talking of fake accounts. The accounts where money have been stuck and stashed. Where money have been stuck and stashed. And I know they will never do it. So don't think that you have comparative advantage. You will never do it because you're scared stiff. Because Mr. Deputy Speaker, they're scared stiff. I'm talking for you to make sure that the messages get to them loud and clear. They're scared stiff to do it. And I'm not going to compute the vast resources that members of the Alliance Party have. You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you? The public will tell you. And you will be lynched. And you will be lynched. If I have to compute, if you have to...
Can you take your seat? Honorable Boolell, you've been making a nice speech from the beginning. Don't get into provocation now, please.
You have to compute the money that has been picked from the pockets of the taxpayers. And I have in mind all the triangles légal that they embark upon when they weren't government, when they still do. You have to refer to special purpose vehicle being used to swell their war chests. So let me have a culture of restraint, and I will come back to the very essence of this bill, because Honorable Rupan has been very provocative. And I don't intend to condescend to that. What I've said is the naked truth, and the naked truth hurts, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Let me... Mr. Deputy Speaker, we know that right from the outset, and we are talking of openness, disclosure, freedom of information, but when it comes to access to information, free airtime, do you realize that they don't have free airtime on NBC? They have all the time in the world on NBC. They manipulate, they manage, and you tell me this is fairness? Now there's provision in the legislation for free airtime. And you know the controversy over the issuance of two licenses to radio station. Case is before the court. Waza. There'll be a lot of waza carried out by our friends on the opposite side. And I can understand they won't be able to face the electorate. So they'll have to seek refuge in radio station. This is a fact, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. So they need shelter, they have to take refuge. Behind window panel, there they'll have the freedom at large to say whatever they want, whatever they think they can say. But Mr. Deputy Speaker, this bill is a mockery of parliamentary democracy. It's not because you have the sheer number that you can get away. For far too long, you've got away. The meltdown has started and the countdown has started. And people are not going to be duped. They have seen it once, they have seen it twice. There is no forgiveness now. The day of reckoning has come, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And when we talk of disclosure, it's easy to talk of disclosure when you walk with your hands in your pocket, and I've been told that they have so much money that they need a wheelbarrow to carry all the money that they have. They need a wheelbarrow to carry all the money that they have. This is disclosure. And what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do now? There's a threshold. There's a threshold of 80 million rupees. Now, my friends, I know what I'm talking, and this is ground reality. What I'm saying is ground reality. I've seen leaders pulling their drawers and asking MPs and asking potential candidates to take as much as you want to finance electoral campaign. I know, I've seen. Don't provoke me to drop names. Don't provoke me to. We were together in 1987. And we were together when we fought the by-election in Lakabe and Felix. And I know what I'm saying. And I know what I'm saying. So, let me So, Mr. Deputy Speaker,
Order, please.
If we want, we of course, you know, we don't want, I mean, the threshold of 80 million has been set, okay? And some of us are arguing that it's too much money. But the cost of election has gone up. I grant you you're right on this. The landscape is different. And mind you, the days of people volunteering to work. You can count on the hands the number of people who are going to volunteer to work for you. And when you say that we're going to lessen the cost of electioneering, but you know the number of clandestine bars which are going to be open? Because they know our friends on the other side, they have money galore. They have money galore, and for them. And you know very well that money politics is at the heart of our friends sitting on the other side of the bench, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And now they've scared. I talk of inherent fear. Our friends from the private sector are now scared stiff. Do invite them for a do if you are in the position. They'll shy away. They stay as far as possible from you for fear of being taken to task. And I tell you, most of our friends hold dues, so have social gathering. They are scared. Now so what are we saying? Now there's a call for disclosure of names and addresses to be forwarded to the Electoral Supervisory Commission. And there's some justification to put basic question. How independent is the Electoral Supervisory Commission? I'm sure it is. But you never know when there's a mole in the Electoral Supervisory Commission. Do you know what the outcome could be? Do you think that they will allow other mainstream political parties, which are strong contenders, who can floor them? Do you think they will allow those parties to have respite? So this bill is a joke, and they will obtain no political mileage where there is no honesty of purpose. The dice is cast. Their days are numbered. Whatever they do, there is no lifeline to save them. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, let me make it quite clear. They've been able to scare everybody. They've acted like scarecrow. Businessmen would be scared to make a donation to parties other than our friends who are in government. And they will see to it that the donations are made well before Parliament is dissolved. Because they know once Parliament is dissolved, the end is nigh. And it's a fact. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, when we stated that for good reasons and measure, there should be a halfway home, that the bill should be referred to a select committee of experts, there is ample justification. As of now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we have a moral obligation prior to election. If there is a political will, one, to refer this, as I say, to the select committee, and two, to address other issues which are relevant. Some people have even asked as to whether we should give serious thought to compulsory voting. This is an issue also that has to be taken on board. And it's what has happened. Government, unfortunately, was caught with its pants down over alleged alleged expression of anger by the members of the public. But Honorable Béranger is right. When you are in office and power, you are here to govern. So if you are afraid, it means that you are simply in office and not in power. And since you are simply in office and not in power, for Christ's sake, go and go away. Thank you very much.